This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Good evening. You've tuned into your primetime bulletin that brings you up to speed with all of the city's happenings, headliners and the cityscape. I'm Evelyn Matthew. There's been plenty upsetting the Japanese nation after the Friday scare we witnessed last week. Meanwhile, the Middle East too has cries of some peace resounding in the nation. But back home in the state too, for those holding political powers in a poll-bound state, massaging egos to getting the best catch-up seats for the day, it's all here on Ndtv-Hindu. We've got it covered. But first, let's take a look at the headlines now. The Congress gets its wish list. Its share of 63 constituencies includes the DMK's Chennai bastions. Power sharing is also on the cards if the alliance wins.
Take seats all over Tamil Nadu. Each parliamentary constituencies at least minimum one seat.
Vaiko miffed over the number of seats offered to him, almost less than one-third of his previous quota. Will the long-standing Amma loyalist go it alone? Actor Karthik walks out of Jayalalitha's alliance after being offered just a single seat. He plans to contest alone. The CBI and the ED submit their status reports to the Supreme Court. The Enforcement Directorate confirms that 31 firms have been summoned. Another day, another suicide by a policeman in Chennai. Is work pressure getting the better of our city cops? And in the next ATP Wells encounter, Chennai boys Somdev face world #1 Rafa. Whose game will it be then? Let's also bring you the top stories we are looking at the rest of the day's news nationally. A third explosion at Japan's quake-stricken Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, but IAEA says radiation levels have fallen. First it was Infosys and now TCS. Indian firms recall their employees in Japan amid fears of radiation leaks. The opposition attacks the government after WikiLeaks reveal how the US viewed UPA's Cabinet 2006 reshuffle as pro-US. And the CBI questions former CWG Organising Committee Chairman Suresh Kalmadi for the second time. After 6 rounds of hectic parleys, the Indian National Congress has finally arrived at mutually agreeable constituencies with the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Congress is contesting 63 seats in the April 13th polls, while the Congress may have got lucky with 5 city seats. Our reporter Lokpriya tells you why it will be a long road ahead for the National Party before celebrations can actually begin.
Having got 5 seats in the city, the Congress is set to woo the urban voter in a big way in Chennai. And it is contesting in key constituencies in the city, traditionally considered to be the DMK's bastion. Thiruvikanagar is a new constituency after the delimitation process, but the voters predominantly went with the DMK.
We want to take seats all over Tamil Nadu. There are principles involved.
The Congress had won 34 of the 48 seats that were allotted to it during the last assembly polls. Interestingly, it failed to win even one of the 3 seats it contested in Chennai in the last assembly elections. Now, with 5 seats under its belt, the National Party will have its work cut out. The TNCC president was hopeful of power sharing if the alliance emerges victorious.
When you say the aspirations of the congressmen will be met, are you hinting at power shares after the elections?
I do not want to say at the moment anything. All this, we see that the aspirations of the congressmen and women are met in due course.
But victory chants will have to wait until the elections are over. The immediate challenge for the National Party is to overcome internal dissidents and get the cadre to work together, something the DMK is famous for. However, the TNCC president is upbeat and confident over the prospects of the alliance.
Not only 63, all the 234 constituencies of our alliance are winnable seats, and we will come back to power with a thumping majority.
By giving away 5 key constituencies in the city to the Congress, the DMK has clearly passed on its 2G burden to the Congress's shoulder. Will the Congress sail through this and win the urban votes despite the 2G scam is the big question. In Chennai, Lokpriya, NDTV-Hindu.
Now, looks like the captain anchoring with the AIADMK has shaken the moorings of Vaiko and his MDMK. While he has been offered 13 seats so far by Ms. Jayalalitha, he doesn't appear to be satisfied with the numbers allotted this time around. Newbies in the AIADMK bloc, Vijay Kant's DMDK, meanwhile, has been offered 41 seats, but Ms. Jayalalitha has not been generous enough with her long-time loyalist Vaiko this time around. The MDMK's vote share is scattered across the state and has been an average of 4%. The ruffling of feathers could only turn ugly if the MDMK's General Secretary plans to go it alone like he did in the 2001 assembly polls when his vote share turned out to be a 4.65%. But the main opposition has already gone into a damage control mode. Sources indicate that senior AIADMK leaders have been asked to convince Vaiko about sticking on to the alliance. As for the MDMK chief himself, he has called for a high-level meeting this weekend to take the final call on continuing with his relations with the AIADMK-led alliance. Let's just draw out a graph of the MDMK's performance in the elections gone by. In the 2001 assembly polls, Vaiko's party contested from 211 constituencies. They won nothing and their percentage of votes was 4.65%. 5 years down the road, in the next election, MDMK was part of the AIADMK's alliance and contested from 35 seats. The party won from 6 seats and its percentage went up to 5.98%. Finally, in the 2009 Lok Sabha elections, Vaiko again joined hands with Ms. Jayalalitha and contested from 4 constituencies but won only 1 seat. The MDMK percentage of votes then stood at 3.66%. Well, if you thought Vaiko was the only one left unhappy by the AIADMK and by Amma, here is more. Actor Karthik has joined the club. The artist, who is also the president of the Akhila India Nadalu Makkal Katchi, has walked out of the AIADMK-led alliance. He now plans to go it alone for the polls ahead. Karthik reportedly wanted a total of 10 seats from the AIADMK but was offered just 1. The actor was formerly a part of the Forward Bloc but went on to float the AINMK before the 2009 general elections when he contested from the Virudhunagar constituency. Meanwhile, the AIADMK General Secretary Ms. Jayalalitha is all set to start her election campaign auspiciously from the temple town of Madurai this Friday. This is according to highly praised sources. Though her electioneering schedule is a closely guarded secret, sources close to her say that her pre-election rally at Madurai, which was a huge success, may have tipped the balance in favor of Madurai to really launch that campaign in the temple city. In summer news from the city, a 40-year-old man failed in an attempt to self-immolate outside Ms. Jayalalitha's Poise Garden residence late last night. He was arrested by the police and then produced before the Saidapet court and then let out on bail. The man has been demanding justice for his sons, who were also arrested on charges of flying kites using manja strings. Kite flying is banned in the city, but on Sunday, a tiny tot had died of injuries sustained after a string from a kite being flown slashed her neck. In a major robbery reported in the city today, ornaments worth about 8 lakh rupees were stolen from the Tirvanmur residence of classical singer Madhumita. Among the stolen jewellery is a diamond-studded piece that's around 50 sovereigns. Police reveal that the theft came to light when the residents were about to leave for a ceremony. The members of the house suspect the involvement of electricians who came over for some repair work. The police have registered a case and a probe is on. The National Alliance of People's Movement, led by social activist Medha Patkar, took to the streets today. The protest was held to demand an end to all forced evictions of slum dwellers in the city. The protesters called for an immediate stop of the elevated express highway and the coastal express highway. Among the demands were also a provision of patta, basic amenities and resettling residents of Kannaginagar and Semancheri.
About 75,000 families are being targeted in the name of infrastructure projects, whether it is the expressway or the waterway cleaning. And we know that it is like a tsunami. The infrastructure is being paid full attention and extra attention, as it happened in the case of the latest budget. And that is because the Kamalnath type of people, Chidambaram type of people are pushing, but they are pushing only one kind of infrastructure, which is the elitist infrastructure. And the others, not just infrastructure or amenities, but even communities are being killed and bulldozed.
This is headlines now on Ndtv-Hindu. Up ahead, fear starts to grip those back home. The Indian IT majors recall the employees from the earthquake zone.